Welcome back, Bravehearts, to the Infinite Iodide Show, okay? The only pure, concentrated iodide on the planet that does not have any negative side effects or any toxicity attached to it. And you know what? I don't know if Terry will address this or not, but the two most important ions that are in the human body that carry on over 120,000 hormonal and chemical processes are calcium ions and iodide ions. And understand something, a molecule so powerful that it can trigger a whole domino of effects and help to create balanced metabolic energy is called iodide. Terry?
Hi, Daryl. Always good to be with you.
Thank you.
Fun to talk about iodide because it is a crucial element for humans to live. Very simple. So there's a lot of things that we require in life. This is one that we really have to have. And I guess a good place for us to start from an educational perspective, this isn't something new. The very first dietary supplement that was ever created on Earth was called iodized table salt, and that was in 1880. There were no dietary supplements in the 1800s. So for the science and the medical community to have come together over a 50-year period, because it had taken that long for them to start to do the research and understanding of how critical this element was once it was discovered, the interesting thing is that they attached it to table salt because at the time, salt was a spice that was used around the world, and it made the most amount of sense to add this to table salt. Now, you would think, since that discovery and that addition in Europe in 1880, that the rest of the world would have automatically done this. Well, it had taken 40 years to get to America, another 20 years beyond that to get to Canada. And, you look at a century later, and there's still countries that have only just started in the last decade or 2 decades to add iodide to their table salt, and the government promote the education. What's happened is that with our diet today and the population growth that has happened, when we take a look at the food that we consume, there's very little iodide in it from a natural perspective from our environment that is in the food that we eat. And iodized table salt is something that, 100 years ago, there was only 2 kinds of salt. There was table salt and there was iodized table salt. That was it. Whereas today there's 20 different types of salts, and iodized table salt's way at the back. And most people don't even know what it's there for or why it's called iodized table salt. So that's how important this show is for us, Daryl, is to explain to people that this is something that is promoted by World Health as a crucial element for us. And to be honest, the World Health Organization has done a terrible job. Easiest way to put it. So there's more than 2.5 billion people on the planet that the World Health Organization coined iodine deficient. They're not. They're iodide deficient. And deficiency is a huge problem. Insufficiency is on your way there, and it's just as bad from a health perspective for us. So that sort of increased that base to go well beyond that. So the huge percentage of our population is not taking enough iodide, this crucial element, into our bodies every day. And that's what we're missing. So it's one thing for us to say, you have to have this. But it's another thing, I guess, for you to understand why. And that's what the show is that Daryl and I can sort of touch on today, because the fact is iodide is an element when it comes into our system. Our bodies are designed to scavenge it 24/7. Unlike any other element on the planet, this is one that you can inhale it, you can absorb it through your skin, or you can ingest it. Once iodide gets into our stomach, for example, the difference is, our food has gone way down. There is no iodide left in our food sources. So if you're not eating, call it 15 pounds of codfish coming out of the ocean every month, your thyroid's not getting enough iodide for it to perform. But that's only one of the issues if you don't have enough iodide in your system, because iodide is far more than just producing thyroid hormones, and it's required to produce testosterone, estrogen, and all the other hormones in our body. So from a hormone perspective, it's critical. But also from a cellular nutrient perspective, in every one of our 35 plus trillion cells, it needs to be there as well as a nutrient for that cell, like the human body, to be able to grow, evolve, be healthy, and most importantly, reproduce. Without iodide, the cell can't reproduce. So it's extraordinary how our body works, and we can get into, I guess, a couple of the details that are very, very pertinent for us, because if we have insufficient iodide coming into our diet, then we are going to be a little more lethargic. We're not going to have as much energy because our metabolism runs with it. It's critical. It's one of the fundamentals of the metabolism. So is our immune system and our
So
brain health.
it could influence weight problems, right?
In a huge way, of course. The whole idea is we're far too overweight as a society, depending on where you go in the world. Most places in the world right now, we're too overweight. There's no doubt. Our body frames and our genetics were not designed to carry the amount of weight that we have, and it's causing us all kinds of health issues that we're now dealing with drugs in order to deal with them that have side effects that you have to have other drugs to deal with the side effects. So from a, you make an interesting point, Daryl, because one thing about iodide, here's another example, iodide. We're talking about it right now. It was put on table salt as a dietary supplement. And you would think that everybody in the world should be taking it. They're not. The beauty about infinite iodide is it is the only pure iodide product in the world. You can spray it in the back of your throat. There is no energy required by your body in order to separate it from another carrier molecule, whether it's a sodium or a potassium iodide or another iodate type product. So there's no energy expended. There's no time expended. Also,
We're talking about like Lugos and Nascent. Lugos iodine, Nascent iodine. So just so everybody's clear, we're not putting them down. It's just that with infinite iodide, there's absolutely no energy to actually uptake this 100%.
Correct. In fact, it's the exact opposite. It gives us energy in the process versus taking it away. That's the first thing. But potassium iodide pills are out there, and they're also being sold in a lot of different places. And all of the products that Daryl has just mentioned, those are high dosing products that were designed for a specific reason at its time that we know of. It's not something that you want to take on a daily basis. Easiest way to put it. And where we're focusing here is staying healthy every day. Is, I guess, the best way to address it versus saying, I'm going to wait till I get sick in order to make a change in my life. This is about staying healthy every day.
Iodide is one of the greatest insurance policies that you can take out on a daily basis, and that's the truth. I do it every day.
Let me give the science behind iodide, which is kind of fun, and I'll give it in a simple explanation. When you spray infinite iodide or you consume iodide and you ingest it into your stomach then takes a small amount of that iodide and convert it into molecular iodine, which is a whole other species. That is the antiviral, antimicrobial, nature's finest killer species, and puts it into our bloodstream. And the iodide also goes into the bloodstream with it. When your blood passes by your thyroid's going to take some of that iodide and turn it into another species called atomic iodine. And it attaches it to the T3 hormones, essential thyroid hormones. You cannot make those hormones without the iodide. It's the fuel. So you now have 3 different forms of iodine, 3 different species running through your bloodstream right now. We all have to have them. And they're headed in one direction, is to go to a cell. And there is, one of them provides the direction for the cell, that is the hormones, the T3, T4s, the atomic iodine. The other one is protection within the cell, which is essentially your molecular iodine, and it has more than that function from beyond protection. And then you have the nutrient value, which is the iodide that has to enter the cell in order for that whole environment to flourish as a cell. Very simple. So there's a nice little explanation. So if you look at your swimming pool, a round swimming pool in your backyard is a big cell. In the middle of it is a small little ping pong ball. That's the nucleus. And you have iodine, atomic iodine going in there. It cannot be produced unless you ingest iodide. Very simple. So this sort of elemental trinity of iodine within our bodies at a cellular level is critical to keep them healthy, live the life they're supposed to live, and molecular iodine will terminate that cell at the end of its life. So this is how critical iodide is for us as a human to ingest. And like I said, our bodies will take it any way it can get it. We just, unfortunately, the largest repository of iodide in the world that we can access is the ocean. So you go for a walk on the ocean, you're breathing it, it gets into your bloodstream. You go for a swim in the ocean, it goes through your skin to get into your bloodstream so that we can use it. You eat a piece of ocean fish or you eat kelp or seaweed at the end of the day, and you now have enough for one day of what your body requires. And you need to do that every day, and we don't. So as we move away, we just have to understand that there's certain things that we have to have. It's like the sunshine.
I need just the
If you
iodide
were
tip.
to, yes, it's very simple. We need sunshine, we need air, we need iodide. It's one of the fundamentals that we have to have. And if it's not coming in our foods, which is no longer there, you have very few options to get it. And the infinite iodide is a product that's the only one in its purest form. No others. It's the only one, and it's microdosing. So it's something that you can use every day. In fact, you need to use it every day. Put it beside your toothbrush in the morning so you brush your teeth and you give yourself 5 sprays of iodide. You know that your body's going to be taken care of from an endocrine perspective, which is your thyroid, your immune system, and your metabolism. And look, from just those different areas, we could go into long explanations, but we keep it simple. You end up with more energy, you're healthier, more cognitive skills, and we're trying to have a longer life. This is how important iodide is to us every day. So for Daryl to be able to promote this into his network and this education is spectacular, beyond belief. And you can look it up anywhere. What I'm telling you right now, you can Google it. And this isn't information that's sort of, oh, this is more recent stuff. This goes back 200 years. This is research. This element has been more researched than any other element on the planet. And there's lots of reasons why, not only from a human perspective, but if you look at it from, fun side and other things iodide does around us, we can't make a rubber tire for a bicycle or a car without iodide, for example. So there's many, many different areas that iodide and iodine are used in an elemental form. But when it comes to humans, we have to have it. Just like a plant needs it, other animals need it, we need it. And it's something from nature. We have to consume it every day.
Absolutely. And just know this, everybody, that this is the biggest sale we've ever done on iodide. And you know why? Well, what happens when you get really stressed? What happens to the thyroid when we get really stressed? Understand, whether you believe or don't you believe it or not, this is your seatbelt. This is your protection. And that's what this iodide does, so that you don't kick the living crap out of your thyroid when the world's going into chaos right now, because stress plays on the thyroid almost worse than any other organ. Carrie, what do you think?
It has to function properly. It really does. And, oddly enough, the number one drug that's sold in America right now that people don't seem to make the connection, it's an iodine drug. It's called levoxythyroxine. Thyroxine is the term, but the commercial name Synthroid, for example, it's because we're not getting enough iodide in our diet for our thyroid to function properly. Here's a pill. It's much easier to take a pure product into your body than it is for a pill. So there's going to be a lot of people out there right now, probably 40% of the audience that's listening to this is on Synthroid, and has either recently been put on it or has been on it for decades, depending on the situation. But the fact is, if your thyroid is to function properly, you have to provide it with iodide. That's it. That's all it's looking for in your bloodstream. So from that perspective, the whole idea here is education, to be able to say, if I'm on this product and I start taking iodide every day, my next blood chemistry is going to come back. I should see a rise in my thyroxine levels that are going on within, my T3, T4 hormones. We're going to see an increase in that. And then you can actually reduce the synthetic that you're taking in. So like anything in life, this is something that perhaps let's call it's been overprescribed, because it was, developed in the 1950s and created back then for a small percentage of the population with no thyroid, which you were going to die very quickly, or, partial thyroid function. This would help. But how does it go from that small percentage in the 1950s to all of a sudden today being the number one sold product? There's an issue there, because the last thing you ever want to do is put something into your body that's going to bypass a healthy, normal process of your system, is going to harm you over time. So it's better to be natural. And this education about iodide is a very simple one. It's not a difficult thing to do. Iodide, there is no taste. There's no taste. Period. So it's not something that's offensive. You just spray it in the back of your throat and you swallow. There is no microbial interaction. There is nothing but benefits from your body from the get-go. So, and it's something that happens very quickly, because your body flows past your bloodstream within your body, bypasses your thyroid, flows past your thyroid every 16 to 18 minutes. So when you provide it with the fuel it needs, it functions. Very simple for us. And the whole idea is for us to live longer and healthier.
Absolutely. And just so everybody knows, we meant to have a ticker down here, but we don't. We will be, like I said, it's our biggest sale. And we're going to go, and we've put 300 bottles of the iodide, infinite iodide, on sale. So when they're gone, the sale's over. The sale could last for a week or could last for just 2 or 3 days. I don't know. But we've done that because we want people to understand the power and the purity of our iodide. And it is the only pure iodide on the market. And start using it and then tell us. And then send us to testimonials at docofdetox.com what you thought of our iodide. I guarantee you, you're going to feel it. Terry?
Yes, you should get a whole bunch of testimonials from this, without a doubt, without a doubt. And I'd encourage people not to just buy one bottle. Buy 2 or 3. Like anything in life, you're going to want to try this. You're going to want to get it into your system. You're going to want to use it for a few months so that it becomes part of your natural thing that you're going to do. And believe me, if you stop, you're going to miss it. You'll know. So that's I guess a good gauge is that if you use something for a little while and you don't use it for a week, you know the difference. But the fact is, try the product and don't say, oh, I'm going to try it for a day and all of a sudden I'm expecting to have a wonderful, energy burst like you get from a fake energy type drink. This is actually metabolic energy. This is going to help you with your energy. It's going to help you with weight control, which are really critical issues, regardless of how old or who you are. To balance your weight is really important for your whole life, not just for certain periods throughout your life, but from the get-go. And it's also something that children require just as much as we do. So on the bottle of infinite iodide, there is a supplement fact that says, depending on the age, here's how many sprays that child should take. And that's going to help them enormously. And that's just the start. So this is something that's a family product, not only for yourself, but for your whole family in order to live longer and healthier together. And that's always sort of my main theme is, longevity with health. And if we can achieve that, that's the ultimate goal. We're not going to live to hundreds of years old, but it'd be very nice to live the extent of our life and be healthy while we're there. Because there's a lot more old people that are coming based on our population today that's gone from, a couple of billion 100 years ago to 8 billion today. There's a massive, population growth and also being able to take care of ourselves as we age. So it's critical that if we start with the right elements in our body from day one, that we are going to live longer and be healthier. But the fact is, some of us are only finding out midway through our life, or depending on what age we are, that this is something we have to have. It's a must-have. So I'm not sure how much more forceful we can be with this. Do your homework if you need, but buy the product, try it, and as you're doing that, look at the information that's there. The science is solid. We have to have it. It's a crucial element in our body, and I'm hoping my explanations are easy enough because I work with medical people that are way over my head with their explanations. So I try and sort of do the translation as easy as possible from a fundamental level. This is how important it is. And
Okay.
all the medical doctors are behind this. So it's not something that it's like, is this something that the medical community agrees with? Or is this something that the holistic and the nutritional community agrees with? The whole world agrees on this one. We all have to know about it. And Daryl's doing a terrific job telling everybody. Okay, so that's, I'm so fortunate and I enjoy being here with you, Daryl, to be able to express this because the importance of it in our life, it's like air. Okay, literally for the first 9 months of our life, it's more important than air. We get it from mom through the umbilical cord as we're growing. Imagine that.
Can you break it down for us though? Like what would be the symptoms of the fetus not getting any iodine? A small baby, a child, a teenager, an adult.
Well, let's start as infants. Okay.
Yes. How about fetus? What about still in the womb? The umbilical cord.
Yes.
Mommy's not getting iodine.
When you first know that you're pregnant, one thing you do is you go to the doctor, and the doctor will give you a prenatal pill that has all these different fundamentals required for the baby, including iodide, and it's usually there at a pretty high limit. But it's not in all prenatal pills for some reason. It's maybe only in half of them. So if you don't know what to look for and it's not there, we're going to have some problems. Okay. So from that perspective, if mom is already iodide insufficient when she conceives, Let's say you start with a baby that's at 100% with IQ, nervous system, skeletal structure, muscle development. It's a brand new baby. Well, 2 weeks into that development or 3 weeks in, she finds out she's pregnant. That baby's no longer at 100% if she's not able to supply it with the hormones it requires in order for it to start to grow its brain, its skeletal structure, and its nervous system. It's critical. So that's what happens at point of conception. She then starts on iodide in her pills. That's going to remain for the rest of the pregnancy. And the interesting thing is that we have an iodine thermostat in our bodies. And this is something because of ongoing research we're learning. A woman that's pregnant goes from 150 micrograms. She now needs 220 during pregnancy for that child to develop. It goes from a single cell to 20 trillion cells in 9 months. Well, all of those cells need iodine in 2 different forms in there. For example, mom is supplying that. That's what happens during the 9 months in the fetus. So if mom doesn't have enough, that child is going to come out guaranteed with a lower IQ, nervous system problems, and skeletal structure issues just to start. And they're going to be more susceptible to diseases as they grow up, and they're not going to live as long as they should. So that is a fundamental where mom has to know this as just one of the important crucial elements is iodide in her diet. If she's even thinking of conceiving, if she's not taking it now, she better start right away. So everybody wants their child to be born 100%. And mom has the ability to consume the right food and nutrition products to do that. And that is just the start of it. Once the baby's born, the baby also now requires iodine in its system. Iodide is where the start is for that child, so the food that it's consuming. If it's mom's breast milk, for example, mom's iodide intake goes from 220 grams to 290 grams during breastfeeding for the next, call it, year to 18 months, just for the sake of putting a timeline on it, all right? That allows that child to actually grow and develop normally, the way that it should, because it's needed in every single cell, whether it's a brain cell, a skin cell, a liver cell. It's in every cell. And without it, we're going to have problems. We do have problems. So as that child starts to grow through its teenage years, through its infant years, high school or grade school, then into high school, our bodies continue to develop and grow. Our cell structure increases. We have to have iodide as the fundamental there during that growing process, or once again, we have problems, physical ailments that either are going to affect us immediately or within a few decades to come, because the process has already started. In the case of young women, for example, girls, fibroids and fibroid cysts have been directly related to an insufficient iodide intake in their diet. Simple. So there's been lots of clinical studies done around that specific piece of work with iodide in our diet, molecular iodine, and how it can fight it within our systems. But our systems only produce molecular iodine from iodide. Okay, so that's how important the iodide is. And based on the work that's been done, fibroids can't form in the areas of a woman's body, which is mostly breast tissues. They don't form because of the presence of iodide and molecular iodine and the T3, T4 hormones in healthy cells. It doesn't happen at all. So we're looking at a huge amount of people in our population, a huge amount of women that deal with fibroids, fibroid cysts, and the pain that they create. And then some of them become cancerous. So this is something that isn't even needed in our society right now if we change our diets and we actually start to educate ourselves on this. And there are a lot of people that are in the iodide business that are trying to promote these certain benefits, but they're talking about very high dosing. We're talking about the only product on the market, and there's only been a few of them developed in 200 years, and ours is the most recent, and this is the only pure iodide product that's ever been developed. The children can take it every single day, and that's how important it is for kids. When you become an adult, insufficient iodide in our diet causes problems as well, not only with regards to women trying to get pregnant and the issues around that, but there's hormonal issues that become created immediately because of the imbalance, which causes an enormous amount of problems in a woman's body and a man's body. Because the people that are on Synthroid, you would think most of them are women, but they're not. It's almost a 50-50 blend of men and women that are taking this hormone. So the hormone, the synthetic hormone is being presented based almost like a weight loss type product. Because if your thyroid's able to create sufficient T3, T4s, well, at least you know the cell is going to function correctly. It may not be as healthy as it should be, but it'll function correctly. It still needs the iodide and the molecular iodine in there to do its job if your thyroid's not functioning correctly, for example. So as an adult, if we don't get this, enough iodide into our diet every day, you're not going to live as long as you should. You're going to have more colds and flus. You're going to gain weight. Your metabolism never slows down. It's a myth. It has to do with our diet. Simple. Okay. That was rather extraordinary a couple of years when the science came out, because we have been under the understanding for decades, the medical truth. Okay. A funny statement. Our metabolism slows down and we gain weight as we get older. That's not true at all. Your metabolism never slows down. You can have thyroid problems that'll affect it. And if you give your thyroid the fuel it needs, which is iodide, that never happens. So if your metabolism can give you metabolic energy at a base level, you're going to be the weight you should be. Whether or not you're a couch potato or whether or not you're an athlete, your body's going to run more efficiently. Very, very simple from a metabolism perspective, from an immune system perspective. That's critical for us. And the more people that are overweight, it taxes their immune system hugely. Diabetes destroys some of our immune system warriors. So from that view, iodide is critical to us throughout our whole life, literally until our last days here. Very simple, Daryl. So it's not something that you think, oh, should I only take as a kid or only take as an old person? You need to start taking it today, every single day until your last day here, regardless of the age. And now that you have the knowledge, so do your children. So this is something that is more than just for yourself, this knowledge. Spread it around at the dinner table, spread it on social media, get it out to everybody. It's critical. We all want the next generation of children to be smarter, live longer, and be healthier than we are. And we have the knowledge to do that. And it simply has to do with nutrition. Very simple.
Thanks. And I'm getting questions in how long the sale is. The sale is until we sell 300 bottles. That's it. Once we sell 300,
could be gone in a few hours, Daryl.
Well, we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see. Okay, but that's 300 in Canada, 300 in the United States, and we'll see. And also, just so everybody knows, that Terry and I are hopefully going to be bringing the infinite iodine and infinite iodide to Mexico. Hey, Terry, we're going to work on that, aren't we?
Yes, sir. That's coming up this week.
Yep. So understand something. We want to get it everywhere we possibly can. So we've got a couple questions. People want to know, what is the difference between iodide and iodine? How about that, Terry?
Yeah, it's very simple. Molecular iodine, when it interacts with a bacteria or a virus, it then converts to an iodide in its pure form. The iodide that we have, rather than having to have microbial interaction at the back of your throat, it's in its purest form, so that when you spray in the back of your throat, you swallow, you're ingesting it in a pure form right away. So, the only difference is molecular iodine will interact with the molecular or the microbial flora at the back of your throat, whereas iodide does not. So there's no taste to it. It's simple to do, and something that your body needs every day. Okay,
so Cindy wants to know, if I take the infinite iodide and I'm on Synthroid,
yep.
Can you tell me what and how I can come back to normal and just using that? That's it.
Yep. Being on Synthroid, okay, it's a prescribed drug, and she's getting her blood chemistry checked to make sure that her levels are okay on an ongoing basis. The idea would be to start out with about 3 sprays every day for the first month or so until you go for your next blood chemistry work. At that blood chemistry work, let's see what changes have happened in your blood chemistry. And the idea here is to reduce the synthetics, not all at one time, but over a period of time. So you reduce the synthetics, you can then increase your iodide intake. So after your first blood chemistry work, you can then go from 3 sprays a day up to 5, and you can see how your blood chemistry is doing. And then you can, if your thyroid is working okay, you don't need the Synthroid.
Beautiful. Jim says, I've been battling weight issues since I was just a young child. Why hasn't my doctor or the naturopathic doctors I go to tell me about this? And now I have to hear it on this show.
Good question. I've been working with iodine for 35 years. I work with a group of world-renowned medical doctors, and when I started with them a few years ago, these are medical scientists and physicians. They knew nothing about iodine or iodide at all. So from that perspective, they've now done an enormous amount of education because they have access to 200 years of medical research on the science and the medical side. On the nutritional side, it's an unknown to them, oddly enough. And I'm doing the same process with regards to nutritionists. But we're fortunate because, with our medical team, from that perspective, allows us to be able to look at changing the educational process in med schools right now, as well as in nutritional, programs in university, to be able to introduce them to iodine and molecular iodide, both molecular iodine and molecular iodide. So from that perspective, it's a learning curve within our system right now that has essentially been lost. Easiest way to put it. So, you can go in and you can actually ask your doctor about iodine or iodide, and a medical doctor knows next to nothing. In his schooling, he was taught you wash your hands with it, you paint it on somebody's body, and that was it. It was a disinfectant. If you were looking at understanding it a little further from a nutritional perspective, you'd have to focus on an endocrinologist. Well, most people are not endocrinologists. It's not a regular GP. So, and even the endocrinologists also have to be, I guess, have their education extended in order to understand the research that's been done, because they've never had the opportunity to have it presented to them. So what I've done on a global scale is I'm introducing it into the medical community as well as the nutritional community, and it's really rocking their world because all of this data has been generated by their peers. So it's not like somebody showing up going, oh, look at this wonderful product and this is something we have to have. This goes back 200 years, and we've been looking for pure products for 200 years. And you have to understand the infinite iodide product that is in that bottle is the only one like it in 200 years, the only one like it ever. So from that perspective, this is how unique this product is. And this is why the medical giants are actually coming in behind this. And it's not pharma. I'm talking about medical physicians, the giants in the medical world that understand science and how to proceed with the human body versus the pharmaceutical industry, two different entities. So from that perspective, we have that community behind us, and there is no arguing with them. This is something we need, and they're delighted that in our lifetime, we've actually been able to come up with iodide to be able to use it in our bodies in the purest form on a daily basis. And that's what's so extraordinary. This is a medical breakthrough for us to be able to be healthier. It doesn't get any stronger than that. And these doctors stand behind it around the world that I'm working with right now, from heart specialists to pulmonologists to endocrinologists. These guys are all specialty doctors in their fields. And from a nutritional perspective, I'm working with the nutritionists, and yet, the Doc of Detox platform is really on the next level up from that, without a doubt, because Daryl gets into far more explicit explanations on how our body functions, what's required on a daily basis in order to get us through not only the day, life, but to be able to enjoy it and do it healthily for as long as we can. So that's the beauty of your show, Daryl. Easiest way to put it. So we are going through training process with nutritionists, nutrition companies. We run training sessions for them. We're doing the same thing, as odd as it sounds, for medical doctors, and I'm not a medical doctor. So this is a lot of fun from a global perspective because nobody says no. This isn't something where they say, oh, no.
It's a big job. It's a big job, Terry.
It's
a big job.
We need to do it. It needs to be done, but that's based on the development of a technology to be able to produce the products that we have, because that's what this conversation is about. So when you say it's a big job, yep, but we're going to start somewhere, and it'll continue for the next 100 years, because one thing about iodine technologies and products, they're not here today and gone tomorrow. Every iodine technology over the past 200 years and product that's on the market, you can still go buy it today for their intended uses. So this is the very first one ever for human ingestion every day. So take advantage of it. It's the right time, the right place in history to understand how important our metabolism and our immune system is. And this is a key element for both of those.
What would you like to leave everybody with, Terry?
Wow. Spread the news. Okay.
Spread the news.
Simple as that. Spread the news. This is something that, one thing about knowledge is that it's not something to be held tight to your chest. It's something to be shared. Okay. And share the knowledge. Health is critical for us. Iodide is just, one fundamental, but it's a critical one for us. And Daryl goes on and goes through all of the other ones. So this is the best platform in the world for people to start to get a real education on what certain things do in our body, because we can talk about it very frankly.
Thank you so much, Terry. And everybody, Terry will be back again. We'll have him back in a few weeks. And thank you, Terry, for all the info. We appreciate you so much.
My pleasure. And if you have any questions, you can get hold of me through Daryl.
Have a blessed day, my friend.
You too. Thanks, Daryl.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, for Infinite Iodide. And like I said, the sale's on. We've cut out a limited amount and try it out. Like Terry said, you might want to, especially, this is our biggest sale we've ever ran on this product. And we're running it because we know how much people need it. And I'm going to tell you, the more stressed you are, you'll have trouble losing weight or gaining weight. You'll have trouble getting well. It's right from A to Z. So, and I'll tell you right now, I run at pretty high, like pushing myself. I do 20 sprays a day, and I do it every day. And you don't have to. You only need to do 5 sprays to get what you need. But see, there's no toxic value to this. You cannot poison yourself. You could take too much of Nascent, too much of Lugos, you get yourself in big trouble. You'll create a metabolism moving so fast because of those products, not with ours. You can't, listen, we've got breast cancer patients taking 1.5 ounces a day. Any type of cancer patient that we have, they can take up to 1.5 ounces a day. And it's not that they can't take more of our iodine product, but the reality is that it would be a waste of money. But we know through studies that that's how much it takes when you're dealing with that type of inflammatory problem. But with the Infinite Iodide, 5 sprays a day, you'll see it in a few days. You'll see more clarity. You can even see that you can see better. Remember something, the thyroid is the master organ for metabolism. Okay, everybody, so you need to get it and understand it. The price that we sell it for, 5 sprays a day, is not expensive. Anyways, we talked about that. So the sale will be on until we reach our maximum of the bottles that we wanted to get out there to the market to give everybody an opportunity who wanted to try the product. Because I get it. I've never done it before, but now it's on sale, so I'll try it. I don't have that much more to lose, but you have a lot to gain, okay? Don't forget, everyone, that you can get my Perfect Day Guide. If you love it, you can order it, and you can get the bound copy, which I can show you right here. Okay, that's it. It'll be delivered to your door for $95. It's worth its weight in gold, but don't order a copy first. Download the pdgfree.com. Okay, pdgfree.com. Go there and download it onto your computer or take a look at it, and then make sure that it's something you actually want to purchase, okay? All right? And just know this, that I'm going to stop Zihuatanejo, Mexico, and we have opened up our 5-star World Healing and Training Retreat, and we also do treatments. So we have people coming and staying at our 5-star retreat, and then we also have people coming and staying. We've got really beautiful hotels just near us, and they're not expensive. Or you can get an Airbnb, and you can come for just treatments if you want. Come for Cellsonic, cardio med bed, emotional, nutritional consultations. Understand something. This is our main, how can I say this? This is where we are, okay? This is where I choose to live. And we still have our clinic up in Kelowna, British Columbia, run by Genevieve Wolf. All right, and I'm going to be going up there, actually, to Canada, all right? I'm going to be going to Canada to do a lecture tour, and I'll tell you that in a second. Here's all the different personal treatment and trainings we do. I don't want to run through them, but you can go to dod5star.com, all right, and check them out. We do everything from pain-free pregnancy to pelvic restoration, to athletic Wolf non-surgical training, Wolf non-surgical certification, personalized Wolf non-surgical training for couples and for groups and for families. So we do it all. We also do like personalized healing relaxation getaways, advanced water fast health and healing retreat, organic juice fast. You know what? You want to go and have the best holiday of your life, and you want to have the best healing of your life. But when you come here, our goal is to help you go inside. It's beautiful outside here, but we need you to go inside and see how beautiful it is there. It's more beautiful inside here than anywhere on the planet, because we need you to understand that it's an understanding and that you have unlimited power when you understand the power of unconditional love and your imagination working for you. You're the one that's creating your life from the moment you rise until you close your eyes. Dr. Sage Wolf will go all over the world, and he will do personal treatment and trainings. So anywhere in the world. And if you want, go to personaltreatmentandtrainings.com, okay? And check that out if you'd like, okay? Or pttworld.com. And here's, I'll be in Calgary doing Reverse the Irreversible and a day with the doc. I'm not going to go through all of the dates and times. It'll drive you crazy. Just know that you can go to Braveheart Nation and you can see everything. It's all listed there. I'm going to Calgary, Alberta first, and we'll be starting off on the Wednesday, April the 10th. And then I'll be doing Reverse the Irreversible and a day with the doc. Then we go to Kelowna, British Columbia, where we'll be doing Reverse the Irreversible in Kelowna. And then I'll be going to Oliver, okay, Oliver, which is an hour away, to do a day with the doc with Trish. She's opening up her beautiful, well, she's already been a practitioner, but she's made a beautiful clinic. She has a cardio med bed, she has Cellsonic, she does the Wolf non-surgical, she does consultations, she does it all. So we're gonna go there and do a grand opening of her new place, okay? So that's Oliver, and you can see all the phone numbers are here for people you want to get in touch with. Then I'll be going to Toronto, and we'll be going to the casino, what's it called? Monte Carlo Casino, and Monte Carlo Casino in Toronto out by the airport. Magdalena, you can call if you want more information. And I'll be doing a day with the doc, 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock, all right? And then I'm going, the Sunday, right after this, so it'll be May the 5th, I'll be in Barrie, okay, and I will be doing a day with the doc with Shalou in Barrie, Ontario, and then on the 5th, I will be at her, not the 5th, 6th. On the 6th, I'll be at her restaurant, okay, the Simmering Kettle, and we're gonna be doing Reverse the Irreversible lecture at night. So you can just check that again at braveheartnation.com. I'll also, on Monday, the 5th, before I go to Chalou's to do a lecture, I'm going to Kathy's house where she's doing an open house, all right? So anyways, check it out. All that information will be up in Braveheart Nation. We haven't updated everything on our slides yet. My apologies. We're just trying to catch up with ourselves. Okay, and then I will be doing the Whole Life Coach certification and Wolf Non-Surgical certification with Dr. Sage Wolf, and then the Pelvic Restoration and Disease Prevention Masterclass, the 3-day class in Stuart, Florida on June the 5th, Coffs Harbor on August the 7th, and Ixtapa, Mexico on October the 17th. And I'm going to tell you something right now. This is going to be our mainstay. We have the most beautiful training center here. We have the most beautiful retreat center to come and stay, okay? I am building this out to be a world platform here so that people can come here. Do you know why? Oh, because you can eat organic, you can drink organic, you can live here, and it's still, oh my gosh, you can live here so reasonable. And every day is so beautiful here. You know, we have over 300 days of sunshine, and the other days I'm just talking about cloudiness. The rainy season, it like rains for an hour or two. Some days you'll get where it rains for a full day, but guess what? There's no place better. And you know what? In Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo, it's like 2,500 people live here in Ixtapa. 35,000 live in Zihuatanejo. And you've got all these rolling hills. You've got these beautiful bays, okay? And you know what you've got? I don't like the word humble. I don't. I like the word passive, beautiful people. And that's why I love it here, okay? I just love it. I feel so free here, and it's all about feeling free, okay? And that's it. I'm not gonna live anywhere where I'm being held down, locked down, constraints of any sort. And guess what? A guy like me in Canada, okay, would get in trouble, okay? You know, I could get in trouble even in the United States, but Canada, holy crap. You know, this is what you're listening to now is that, if you can hear it in the background, guess what? They do garbage pickup every day here. They do garbage pickup every day. Really? Are you kidding me? All right, the streets are so clean, it's so beautiful here. I love it. I'm home. This is my home, okay? So if you want to get in touch with Debbie, she's the one who's doing the course in Stuart, Florida. Coffs Harbor, it's Tora Klein. And in the stop in Mexico, that would be me. Call me up, say, hey, Daryl, how's it going? Pretend you're the person next door. Pretend we've been friends all our life. Don't say, oh, I don't want to bother you. Don't say, I won't take any of your time. You take as much time as you need. You take as much time as you need. Okay, that's what I'm here for, to answer questions. Don't put me on a pedestal, and don't think that you're a bother. People aren't a bother, okay? Just know that. All right, that's why I do these real people, real healing consultations live, and I do them for free. When people want a consult and they want it from me, you know, I tell them I charge $400 for the consult, but if they want to come on live, I'll do it for free because you're gifting everybody else who might have that condition, and I need to give back. I need to give as much as I possibly can. We all need to give of ourselves, of our passion and our purpose, so that we can feel like, yeah, there's lots of love in this world. I can see it now. These are the prices that we have. Wherever you come from, if you were to come to Extampa, you'll pay in US dollars. If you're in America, if you come from Canada, it's Canadian dollars, Australia, Australian dollars. Do you understand? And if you're from any other countries, well, just give me a call. We're trying to make a complicated issue as easy as possible because we need to keep our prices as low as possible because guess what? It's not make-believe. Everybody's being choked. That's the bottom line, okay? And we just want to lessen the chokehold on you. All right, don't forget about the perfect day if you want to download it and go in there and challenge my beliefs. Why don't you? Why don't you challenge your own beliefs? Because if you challenge your own beliefs and you bring in some better, higher vibrating, prominent, dominant beliefs, you'll change your life and you'll change the lives of those around you, okay? And if you have any testimonials, please send them to Doc of Detox Testimonials, whether it's written, whether it's an audio, whether it's a video, we'd love them. We won't put up testimonials unless they're real. We're not going to make them up and we're not going to write them for people. I won't do it. I won't do it. I am not going near the marketing thing, and you can believe it or not. I'm not doing this for money. And yes, I have staff I have to pay. We've created what's called the Braveheart app. It's going to be the most powerful healing app on the planet. 95% of it's free. We're going to have 60 to 120 different shows on that app. We already have the biggest self-love, self-care library with more masterclasses than any other website I know of that's free. My book is free. So what is he really up to? Loving his life. How about you? Are you loving your life? That's all I want you to do is love your life. Okay? And there's enough information in my PGD guide or in my library on docofdetox.com. Go into my library. Go challenge me. All right. So tomorrow I'll be coming on at 1 o'clock. And I'm going to be talking about the highway to hell. Okay? And the reality is we have been paved the highway to hell, okay, by corporations, by the so-called system that said they were going to look after us. And I'm not trying to put them down. That's just the way it is. They're not a broken system. That's what they teach. The medical system is always taught the same. Okay, the government's always taught the same. Corporations have always said the same. And I'm always going to say the same. And I'm not going to change what I say just because somebody's pissed off at me. Because the reality is the truth will set you free. And if I can't come on and speak my truth, it may not be your truth right now. It may never be your truth. But the reality is I'm only trying to give you one thing, unconditional love for yourself and care. You don't need to buy anything else from me, but buy into that. Buy into it that you're special. Buy into it that you're special enough to love totally, that you should never judge yourself, that you should care for yourself, that you should caress yourself. Buy into it. You need to buy into it to protect yourself. And don't forget, there's the pelvic restoration that we do. We're not doing one this week. We usually have it on Mondays with Lorraine, but there's a lot of people celebrating, so I didn't want to come on here and bombard people with shows today. We will be back next week. And then also Lorraine and Simran, they come on every 2 weeks. Okay, 2 women do the pelvic restoration for men and women, and then me and Lorraine do it every week. All right, except not today. All right, and no, most people don't believe this, but I'm just telling you that when are we doing the show? Thursday, right? What time? Wednesday?
Yes.
5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. I will be doing a show with Dr. Ben, and I will prove to you that you have practitioner protection almost everywhere around the world. Definitely Canada, United States, Europe, okay, Australia. You have practitioner's protection when you get adopted by the Taino tribe and get your doctorate of indigenous medicine. They cannot tell you what to do. You're under a whole different umbrella. And please go and check that out at braveheartnation.com. Look at the slideshow. We'll be here on Thursday. We're doing the show at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we will answer all your questions. And we'll stay until they're all answered. Okay? All right? And you know what? Just because you haven't heard it before doesn't make it a lie. Just because you've heard it or they've passed it down for thousands of years doesn't make it the truth. And guess what? If everything was so ding-dang good and we were on a roll, then why is it that 86 to 92% of the population, depending where you go around the world, has an autoimmune disease? Why? Why? Because it's so corrupted. Or people are just so superficial in their training, or they have a twisted strategy and program and they don't even know it. People aren't bad, but there are bad beliefs out there. Don't forget about my Braveheart Nation app. It will be coming out. It's a little late because we thought it would be earlier, but the reality is we've been told that it's the biggest health app that's been created so far. And I don't say bigger is better, but the reality is we've put in so many free things in there and platforms and chats and support groups and DocStar TV to try to bring in shows from all over the world. It doesn't matter what the religion, what the language, what the anything, everybody's welcomed. Everybody's welcomed, okay? As long as you bring unconditional love, you can have a show on my show. Bring unconditional love and unconditional care from your heart, because guess what? I only know this much. And with this app, we might be able to get this much, okay? I'm only one small piece of the puzzle. I get it, okay? All right, there's many roads to the top of the mountain. So self-care before health-care. Self-love before trying to get someone else to fall in love with you. Because I'll tell you something. If you want something permanent, if you want it permanent, then you're going to have to put your heart into it. And you're going to have to repeat it over and over again until you can get your subconscious to believe that you are worth it all. And you are. God bless. Thanks for joining me. Have a beautiful day.